Release the Kraken!
Greetings, fellow game designers. Ron here at Lame Duck Studios, and today we're going to look at creating a Minecraft clone. Now, a little while ago, I had a vote out to see what kind of game to do, and the biggest reply seems to be Minecraft, of all things. That wasn't even on the list. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start off with that, and then we will kind of move forward. So this is going to be a beginner-oriented kind of tutorial, like most of mine are. We're going to build a base character and blocks in Maya. We're going to move those over into the Unreal Engine. Now I want to do this in two different parts. I want to do a C++ version and a Blueprint version, but we're going to do the Blueprint version first. If you folks want to do the C++ version, definitely hit me up in the comments, and that will let me know how much people want the C++ version. Okay, that being said, let's go ahead and begin. So I'm in Maya, I'm in 2018, but you can do this in any version. And I'm going to go to Poly Modeling, and I'm going to go ahead and add a cube. Cool. For your environment setup, if you need to have your environment set up the same way as I do, mine is set up under Display, Grid, Options. I'm at 500, 10, and 1. Now my usual setup is 512, 96 by 32. But I adjusted my setup just so that my grid lines snapped cleanly, and you'll see that in like a little bit. And I'll go ahead and close this off. So we have our block, and I grab the polycube, and I get the base size of the cube we're going to make, which is going to be 64 cubed. So 64. That'll be in all three of these. So width, height, and depth. Here's our cube. Awesome. Day's done. See you later. Okay, the next thing is we want to make sure that we are oriented facing the z-axis. Now, Unreal does have the front down the x-axis, which is great for vehicles and for most objects, but I find character animation to be a lot easier down the z-axis and would just rotate later. You can, of course, align your characters to the x-axis, and it worked perfectly fine. You're more than welcome to do so. I prefer the z-axis. Okay, so I'll go ahead and name this. This is going to be block. And let's go ahead and export it. File, export selection. I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. So, new folder. I'm going to call this not Minecraft. For copyright purposes, you know. And I'm going to save this out as SM for static mesh underscore block. Over here, make sure that we are using FBX export and that we have our geometry tab, smoothing groups, smooth mesh, and reference asset. Get those three. And then for animation, just make sure animation is unchecked. We have no animation on the block, so it's fine. And we go ahead and export. Cool. So far, so good. Let's go ahead and move our block out of the way. Next, we want to go ahead and make a reference for our character. So again, I'm going to go ahead and make a new block. I'm going to call this one reference. In my poly asset or polycube here, I'm going to go ahead and just set this to 64. And then the height is going to be 128. Or sorry, yep. And the reason for this is Steve is 2 blocks tall. So I'm going to make a block that is that tall. I'm going to move this up so that it is touching the ground. So I'm going to go to Translate Y and change this to 64. So that is halfway through our block, right? Because if we're 128 tall and we are cut directly in half, then we just have to move up 64, which is half of 128. Hopefully that's not too fast for some folks. Okay, I'm going to zoom in over here. I'm going to come down to my Layers tab, and I'm going to go to Create Layer from Selected. Make sure that this is selected. If not, then it would not be in this layer. If you hit Visibility and you notice it does not toggle off, go ahead and select it, and then right-click on the layer and just Add Selected Object. I'm going to set this to a template. That way it's nice and pretty, and I can see what I'm doing. Now it's time to start making our Steve character. So again, using my z-axis is forward, I'm going to go ahead and create a block. Now I've already went ahead and measured these out, so I'm just going to go ahead and go into my front view. Get in a good position here. Move this up to about where the head's going to be. I'll name this one head. And I already did the math for this, so the head is going to be about 35 centimeters cubed, which is what that is. 35 centimeters. Alright, next thing on the list. We will do the body. Another polycube. Body. This one is going to be 35, but then the height is going to be 45. Like so. 35 in the width, 45 in the height, and 35 in the depth. Okay. Let's go ahead and make the arms. So new cube. I'm going to make this one 12 in the width. We'll do 12 in depth. And then the height is going to be the same as the body, which is 45. Now I'm going to grab it and just move it into position. And I'm going to line it up so it's not too close to the body, but a little bit of ways. And then I'm going to match the height of the body. I'm going to grab the body, copy the value that's here. So that's 59, whatever that number is. I'm going to go ahead and just Control-C. Go to the Translate Y. Paste it in. So now it's the same height. Let's go ahead and name this. This is going to be the arm underscore. And if we're looking at our player, if this is our front, then this is going to be his right arm because we're mirrored. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is going to be arm underscore right. I'm going to duplicate it, Control-D to duplicate. And then I'm just going to rename it. So this is going to be arm underscore left. And I'm going to change the X translation to a positive number. So whatever the positive number is, and now it is perfectly across. Awesome. Next is the leg. So this one's going to be leg right. 16 in the width, 16 in the depth, and then the height will be 42. I'm going to raise this so it's on the ground. So the Y translation, again, is going to be half of whatever this is. So 42 divided by 2 would be 21. And I want this to just be aligned with my torso. You can align this however you like. It can be a little bit in, it can be exact. It's up to you. Now you can see that the body is a little bit too close to the leg. So we're going to have to fix that in just a minute. Real quick, go ahead and duplicate your leg, Control-D. The new leg is going to be leg left. And I'm going to change out the sign for the translation X. So it's going to be a positive number. Now it's a matter of just sorting this out. It's a little bit close. So I'm going to grab all these, get my move tool, and I'm just going to drag it up just a little bit. I'll bring the head down some. Cool. If I go into my view here, you'll see that we have our character. Now the torso is a little bit thick. I think we're going to take this down just a little bit. Let's do the torso. Let's take the depth down, maybe let's do 16. Yeah, I like that. Again, it doesn't have to be exact. We don't want to hit the copyright law. Maybe 24. However you want to do it, you know, it's up to you. So here is our not Steve. Okay, so we have all our pieces, and let's go ahead and save it. So save. I'm going to name this not Steve. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the video here, and the next one we'll do the UVs and the texture, and I shall see you next time. Hey guys, thanks for checking out my channel. Misty and I both thank you. If you've enjoyed that video you just watched, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, I do have official merch and a Patreon somewhere in the link down below. Updates for things that are coming along. Of course, we are at 1,000 subscribers, and that is awesome. We're still doing voting for what project I'm going to work on next, like what big project I'm going to work on next. So make sure you head over there and do that. Also, keep your eye out for the devlogs for Blockout and Rocket Flip. Those are 2 games that are coming out for Lame Duck Studios, officially released and all that good stuff. And if you guys want to see how those are being put together and the process that I've been going through, stay tuned for that. You'll be seeing those coming up here soon. And don't forget that I create new content on Sundays and I release content on Wednesdays. So stay tuned, and I shall see you next time.